Lesson 3-6, multiplying matrices. So by the time we're done with this lesson, we should be able to multiply matrices together and then use the properties of matrix multiplication. So to start with, matrix multiplication is when we multiply two matrices together. So the first thing that we're going to do is check the dimensions of each matrix. So the number of columns in the first matrix has to be the same as the number of rows in the second matrix. So if that happens, then we're going to multiply the elements of each row of the first matrix by the elements of the corresponding column of the second matrix. And then we're going to add those products. And the dimensions of our answer should have the same number of rows as the first matrix and the same number of columns as the second matrix. So that's a lot of directions, so we're going to kind of go through just a general case and then some specific examples. So in general, when we are trying to multiply two matrices together, the first thing that we're going to do is write down the dimensions. So our matrix A is a 2 by 2, matrix B is a 2 by 3. Then we're going to check the inside numbers. So our 2's here, so these have to be the same. So if they're not the same, then we can't continue. So it would just be a not possible problem. And then our answer matrix is going to have the same rows and columns as these outside numbers. Okay, so that's what this is showing over here. So when I multiply, I'm going to have a 2 by 3 matrix when we're done. Now, when we multiply, we are taking rows of the first one, so A and B, times the columns of the second one. Okay? So I'm going to take A times E, and then I'm going to add it to B times H. So that's our first position. Okay, now for our next position, this is in the first row, second column. So again, I'm going to take my first row times the next column. So I'm going to take A times F plus B times K. So that gives me this next position. And then I'm going to do it one more time. So I'm going to take the first row times the third column. So again, A times G plus B times L, and that gives me the next position. So now, when we move to the bottom of our matrix, okay, so this spot, this is in the second row, first column. So now I'm going to take C times D, or CD, times each column. So for this first position, we take C times E plus D times H. And then my next position, this is the second row, second column. So I'm going to take CD times FK. So again, it's C times F, because those are the corresponding positions, plus D times K. And then our last spot, this is second row, third column. So that's what I'm multiplying together. So CD times GL. So again, it's C times G plus D times L. So that's the pattern that we're looking for. Now if we look at our next general problem, so again we're going to start by writing down the dimensions. So we have 2 rows, 3 columns, 2 rows, 2 columns. So again we want to look at these inside numbers here. So these don't match. So that means that this one is not possible. So again, the inside numbers have to match, and then we use the outside numbers as our new dimensions. Now, this is a very important thing to recognize. So we had the same matrices, A times B, and then we switched it around and said B times A, but we weren't able to multiply this one together. So this means for matrices, multiplication is not commutative. So that means that I cannot take A times B or B times A. So these will not get us the same answer. Whereas normally if I take 2 times 3, that means the same thing as 3 times 2. That is not true when we multiply matrices together. So the order that we multiply things in matters. Okay, so I'm going to say that again because it's important. The order that we multiply matrices in matters.